Hello, beautiful soul. In this video, you are going to learn why you might still be alone in spite of doing everything that you can, maybe losing weight, getting all kinds of new clothing, getting matchmakers, going on multiple dates, maybe having multiple relationships behind your back, and still maybe you are alone or stuck with the wrong partner. What is going on? What might be going on? And can it be connected to your mother? Can it be connected to your mother? And if your mother is possibly toxic or narcissistic? So let's jump right in. When you learn about the consequences that happen after you spend years and years of your life with a narcissistic person, loving a narcissistic person, especially loving a narcissistic mother, and maybe that mother has narcissistic traits, maybe she is borderline, maybe she has some other personality disorder, some kind of toxic disorder that makes her the sun around which everything rotates. Then the consequences of growing up in this kind of atmosphere can be pretty dreadful. And so when you learn what is possible and when you learn how it might be affecting you and your ability to magnetize healthy relationships, then you will get a choice. You will have a choice and you will learn what to do in order to overcome those consequences. And I promise to you that at the end of the video, I'm going to give you this possibility. I'll give you a call to action on exactly what to do in order to heal yourself from that relationship, move on, be reborn, be healed, and bring in the relationship and life that you want and deserve. My name is Luba Evans. I am a love coach to hundreds of people. And my specialty is helping people let go of fear, doubt, and low self-esteem, and to shift into the absolutely best, most empowered, most magnetic, and most happy version of themselves. So if you are ready for that, stick around to the end of the video, because if you don't know what's happening with you and you are working so hard on yourself, you're trying everything that you can, maybe shuffling through tons of people on a dating app, maybe going on tons of dates, maybe settling for less and suffering in your relationships, then you're kind of stuck, and those things actually, if are unattended, will only get worse and worse. The relationships that you bring into your life are going to get worse and worse with age, and it's going to be more and more difficult to recover from them. So it's just that important. If you like anything about this content, about my energy, my clothing, or about my channel, please put a like to this video, subscribe, and forward this video to people who might really benefit from it. Pay it forward. All right, let me jump right in. So when you are raised by a narcissistic mother, and you can see the symptoms and the signs that your mother is narcissistic in the previous video. So here are the 6 consequences that we observe in our students and clients. Number 1, low self-esteem. So narcissistic mother who is constantly criticizing and manipulating her child is giving the message that you do not matter. Especially she's giving the message that something is wrong with you, and whatever you're doing is always wrong because you are responsible for her happiness and she's not happy. So if this is something that you've experienced in your life, please put into the comments, yes, this is me. This is exactly how I feel, that whatever I do is never enough. It's never good enough, whatever I do. If I wash the dishes, it's incorrect. If I dress with you know, if I put on a nice, maybe expensive dress or shirt or suit, she's going to look at me and still make a remark and say that something is not good enough. Or for example, if you're spending an hour with her, that's still not enough. A day, not enough. You're sleeping in the same room with her, it's not enough. Maybe like even if you were sleeping in the same bed with her, and some people actually do, and you'll be surprised, but this also happens. It might still not be enough, because at the end of the day, she wants to kind of like bite into your liver and get the energy out of that. She wants to merge with you to such an extent that any kind of boundaries dissolve. But when she does merge with you, that's not good for you. Yeah, because she merges in order to take energy from you. She merges in order to feel better at your expense, in order for her feelings to flow freely, while you have to repress your real feelings, while you have to be silent, while you cannot really express your truth. And because of that, you learn that you are not important, especially if you are a woman who has learned that your feelings are not important. That really influences your ability to rest in your feminine, or to enjoy being feminine, or to trust your own feelings. So for example, if you go on a date with someone and you observe that this person is just talking about themselves all the time, but you're so used to that you're going to be sitting there quietly, and maybe you are even going to be attracted to that because that's what you're used to. Or maybe you're going to sit through an hour or 2 hours of that, and you're never going to speak up, and you're never going to leave. Instead, if you really were connected to your feelings, and if you felt like, yes, I am important, my feelings are important, and if you are truly connected to your own self, the moment when you don't feel good, let's say this other person is dominating the conversation, let's say this other person just fails to see you, fails to honor who you are, then you would just say something like, well, you've been talking about yourself for such a long time, and this just doesn't feel good. This would be a good time for you to ask questions about me, or I want to talk about myself too, and give that person a couple of those kind of warnings or feedback. And if that other person is unable to hear you, that means that that person is very self-centered and very self-absorbed. And at that point, you can just say, okay, well, this doesn't feel good, and I'm gonna go. Okay, and so that's what would happen if you loved yourself and honored your feelings. But when you don't honor your feelings, or when you don't even know what you're feeling, because knowing what you're feeling was not even safe or was not on the table when you were growing up, then you risk staying with the person like that, who is dominating, or who is criticizing you, or who is just not seeing you for who you are. You risk to stay with a person like this for 20 years, 30 years. I have clients like this come to me all the time, who have been with the person for years, decades, who was criticizing them, who did not allow for their feelings to surface, who didn't listen to them, who was not sensitive. Okay, so it's just that important. So number two, when you grow up with a narcissistic mother, you develop codependent patterns. What does it mean? Codependency is about feeling responsible for other people's feelings. So codependency makes it difficult for you to stand up for yourself. It makes it difficult for you to take responsibility for your own life, because in some way you are so used to be taking care of the feelings of another person. And maybe you're very good at it. Maybe you're a master at it now. Maybe you really know how to read the signs. Maybe you know how to adapt. Maybe you even know how to be sort of a chameleon. And maybe you even turned it into your profession. Good for you in that case. But still, when you need another person in order to feel complete, that's codependency. When you feel that it is up to you, and that you have the power to make another person feel happy or not happy, and therefore you have responsibility for their happiness, that is so dangerous, because then codependent people tend to attract people who are really damaged and broken, sometimes substance abusers, sometimes people also with personality disorders, sometimes people who are just lazy, people who are undisciplined, people who are users, who are losers, you know, so to speak, like in simplistic terms. But then the codependent pattern that you have allows you to be in long-term relationships with people who make your life harder instead of making your life easier. But you're so used to the burden, you're so used to the fact that a person that you love, a person that you're really connected with, is such a deep burden or maybe a dark entity, that this feels familiar. And in fact, you're going to be attracted to those kind of projects, to those kind of people taking responsibility for their sanity, their health, their possibly financial abundance, their survival, their feelings, whatever that is. So it's very, very important to understand that. Number three, of course, when you are brought up by a narcissistic mother, you develop real aversion towards conflict, because you cannot win a conflict with her. You cannot win a conflict because she's going to gaslight you. She's going to tell you that whatever you think happened did not happen. She's going to defy any kind of sense of logic. She's going to drive you completely insane, and then she's going to blackmail you that if you keep confronting her, she's going to get sick and die. And then you're going to start feeling guilty, and then you're going to start feeling pity, and then you're going to start feeling compassion towards her, and then you're going to start thinking, oh, why did I even start the conflict in the first place? It was useless. At least if I was silent right now, everything would be peaceful. Okay. And so you get used to not setting boundaries. So what happens when we don't set boundaries? What happens is that basically we become a victim, and we can even start blaming other people. We are not really actually taking responsibility for our own self, but instead we keep giving, never receiving. We get drained, we get exhausted, we develop resentment. And in a romantic relationship, you're going to most likely lose respect for your partner and lose sexual desire. And then at a certain point, you're going to explode. And that makes you an unsafe partner. So unsafe partner that another partner cannot trust. Because if you can't set a boundary, if you can't say, yes, I want this, no, I don't want that, you can also not be trusted. You cannot be trusted, right? So imagine if another person would always be saying yes to everything, but they didn't really mean it. Would it be easy for you to navigate? No, it would be very difficult for you to navigate a relationship with this kind of person, right? So it is very humanitarian, and actually a favor when you're speaking your truth. When you're speaking your truth, your true desires, your true yes, your true no, then you become a safe partner, and you are actually serving a true mirror to the world. So people who were raised by narcissistic mothers often do not have a full yes and full no, and maybe you don't even know what you're feeling. Maybe you don't even know what it is that you truly deeply want. Maybe you are not even daring to know that. Maybe because you were a child and you really wanted something and you did not get it, and your dreams were broken, and maybe it is kind of hard to start dreaming a new dream again. So if that's you, please click on the link below and immediately set up a 45-minute love breakthrough session if you're ready to work on this and learn and understand what it is that you want, who you are, and how you want to build the next chapter of your life, and what kind of relationship do you envision? What is your soul mission? What's your vision? What is the partnership that will be evolutionary for you and for the world? Keep moving on. Number 4 consequence of being raised by a narcissistic mother is anxiety and depression. So if you have that, if you have anxiety, if you're nervous about things, if you are nervous about the future, if you keep reminiscing about the past, also say, yes, I have anxiety. So emotional turmoil that is caused by a narcissistic mother. Why, beloved? Because a narcissist is a person who is very empty inside. It's like a black hole. So no matter what you put into that black hole, it's never enough, because there is something missing there. And what is missing there is real faith. And whatever you want to call it, maybe it's faith in justice, maybe it's faith in general goodness of the world, maybe it's faith in God, maybe it's faith in love or goodness of people, but that is missing. And the sense of their own purpose, soul purpose, is also missing. And so when that is missing, then the abyss of the darkness, the abyss of that hole is going to suck you in as well. And no wonder if you don't have that backing of the mother, and mother is like Mother Earth. So Mother Earth has to be stable. Mother has to be stable, soulful, stable, calm, trusting, wise, knowing that things have endings and beginnings, that everything is on the spectrum, wise, forgiving. So instead, if you have this neurotic, we can say very like adolescent, not an adult soul as a mother, no wonder that you might be experiencing depression and anxiety. Okay, so the next one, number 5, consequence of being raised by a narcissistic mother is perfectionism. So we might think that perfectionism is a good trait because it allows you to thrive for the best. Maybe it allows you to be the best. And okay, great, there's nothing wrong with that. But real perfectionism actually is paralyzing. So for example, I know many people who want to start a project or who want to have a relationship, but they need it, they're waiting for something to be so perfect that that perfection just never comes. And so I know some very talented people who never started their businesses, who never really got into a relationship because something was not perfect. And you know, the idea that something can be perfect is an illusion. Perfection really does not exist. Like true perfection can only happen in math, maybe abstract thinking, but in a real organic nitty-gritty life which we are living here on earth together with our sweat and together with our tears and together with all kinds of other mixed feelings and chemical reactions, there is no perfection there. The only perfection is imperfection. So if you look at a mountain, for example, from a distance, it might seem very perfect. But when you come closer and closer to the mountain, you're going to see that there are all these different sticks, and of course it's asymmetrical, and of course there are all kinds of piles and the soil and all of that. And so, yeah, it is not perfect when we look deeper into things. And here it is very important to have this possibility to trust the chaos, to forgive that something is not exactly the way you want it. So with age, desire for perfectionism usually increases and tolerance usually decreases. That is why sometimes it is very difficult for people who are perfectionists to bring in a partner, to tolerate that partner, to forgive somebody for, you know, maybe another person is not breathing the way you like, or not eating the way you like, or maybe they're misspelling things, or maybe something else is not perfect in them. And guess what? There is something that is not perfect in everyone. And so perfectionism could be paralyzing, could be just holding you from action. So this consequence is really detrimental as well. The last one, number 6, consequence of being raised by a narcissistic mother is difficulty expressing your real emotions and expressing emotions and being vulnerable. And that is happening because you're afraid that if you tell your truth, if you say your truth, you will be criticized, you will be ridiculed, or you will be abandoned, you will be disowned, and at the end of the day, you will not be loved. And so what usually happens is that your throat chakra gets clogged, and very often it is difficult to do public speaking, for example, or to speak on stage, or to really be impactful when you are speaking to other people. So very often the voice cracks, or very often the voice is just so low and hidden that when you speak, it is difficult to attract attention. It is difficult to stop, to make other people pause and look at you. It is difficult to take your own space in the room. So those are the consequences of being raised by the narcissistic mother. And of course, the biggest one of all is failing to bring in a healthy, happy relationship. So if you are ready to start shifting from those consequences into health, healthy boundaries, great power, love towards yourself, increasing your feminine energy, or taking your balls back as a man, and coming into your true essence, which is love, coming into your true power, which is connection to the mission of your soul. And the mission of your soul, I will tell you right now, the highest mission of every soul is to serve love on this planet. And you can serve it in many different ways. You can advance technology, you can organize things in the beautiful ways. You can catalyze processes, you can educate, you can heal. There are so many ways. You can make donuts, you can bake, you can create beauty, whatever means you choose to express your talent. Still, your alignment, your connection to the mission of your soul is your true power. Alignment with something that is bigger than you. And that is the true key recipe to start shifting from a person who is expecting love from somebody who cannot give it to you the way you need it. Maybe they give you some kind of love, but it's not maybe the kind of love that you want from a mother. Maybe it's not unconditional. Maybe it's not tender. Maybe that mother cannot truly see you for who you are. Maybe she can't hold space for you. Maybe she always has her own agenda, or maybe she just drives you completely insane. And you know, that happens to many of my clients and students. And in this situation, it's very difficult yet to be yourself and respect yourself and move forward and be successful in your romantic relationships and even in your business very often. So I urge you and invite you, if you are ready to work on yourself and shift and empower and stop being subservient and enabling narcissists in your life. And not only narcissists, stop being attracted to people who are emotionally unavailable because you want to get their approval, because you did not get that approval from your mother or maybe from your father. I invite you to book a 45-minute session with us and to see how we can help, because this is truly our specialty. We have helped hundreds of people to get into their most empowered, most magnetic self, and to start creating synchronicities, miracles in their lives, beautiful relationships. And this is our service, and that's what makes me and my team very, very happy. I'm sending you a lot of love, and I just want to acknowledge you, the bright, giving, beautiful being who is here on this channel, getting education, getting empowered. And I also want to say that we have so much going on. We have ecstatic dating events online. We have retreats, Costa Rica, Peru, upstate New York. We have a big tribe of amazing people, and we are inviting you in. And this is a time for people to become free and loving and powerful. And we want you to join our army of angels. This was Luba Evans sending you so much love.